So welcome to my 2025 video game gift buyer's guide. And it's that time of the year again. We're all looking for the perfect gift to get for our family members, our significant others, friends. It's a crazy time of year, and I've got some recommendations today of some video games, some video game hardware, some other stuff, some tabletop stuff, some books, some music that I want to recommend to people who are in the video game sphere.
Now we're talking!
And I'll ask you guys, what are some things that people should buy for their significant others this Christmas that I don't mention here because I'm just going to mention things that I personally like? What are some things that you like and that you recommend to people that they can go into the comments and see a great item or a great video game that you recommend? Let me know down below. To start off with, Nintendo released the brand new Nintendo Switch 2 this year, and it's gone on to sell a heck of a lot of units. I think it's like 10 million plus at this point, and it's a great choice for this holiday season. There's so many great games, and two that I recommend to begin with. I talked about them all year, and we have Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza, both bringing something great to the table. Mario Kart World is one of the biggest racers they've ever done, with so many selectable characters, so many characters you can unlock, so many vehicles you can unlock, and a great online mode with knockout mode, a mode that I've been talking about all year. I think is absolutely fantastic. The visuals are really great in this. For anybody who's loved past Mario Kart games, you can't go wrong with Mario Kart World. And then we get to a brand new franchise with Donkey Kong Bonanza. This game is crazy. This game is out of control, no pun intended. It's like a fever dream style of game where you can destroy any of the environments, and what you're trying to do is go down to the planet's core, and you're smashing your way through all of the levels to get there. And it's kind of crazy, but the puzzles are really good. It feels like it's chaos, but it's controlled chaos, and it's really cool just to have Donkey Kong back with all of his friends again, and I guarantee you a great time with this game. Now, for anybody out there who has never played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, they released two brand new versions of the game. They're the same game, but on the Nintendo Switch 2, they're upgraded. They're upgraded to 4K, 60 frames a second, and it really shows. It really brings these games alive in a whole brand new way. And these are two of my favorite video games of all time. Breath of the Wild, I've said, is the greatest video game I have ever played. I stand behind that, and especially now when you can play it on the Nintendo Switch 2, it is amazing. It almost feels like a brand new game. A great way to experience two classics now on the Switch 2. And another game I've been playing that I want to recommend, because if you have that itch or you have a friend who's into the Pokemon series, they've released Pokemon Legends ZA on the Nintendo Switch, and it's a brand new environment to go and explore, and I love the real-time combat. That's the big selling point of this game. And it's just fun to run around the city exploring. Is it an unbelievably powerful graphics game that really takes advantage of the Nintendo Switch hardware? No, I don't think it does. But if you're into Pokemon, this is the next level of Pokemon that you're gonna get on the Switch 2. And I think there's a lot of people that are very, very interested to try this game who are into the Pokemon series. And I have one more item I want to recommend for the Nintendo Switch 2 if you subscribe to their online service and you play GameCube games. So if you're a big fan of the old GameCube games, get the GameCube controller for the Nintendo Switch. It'll take you back in time to a simpler time in video games and a place where you can experience all of the old GameCube games like F-Zero, and it's really cool to go and play those old games again with a GameCube controller on the Switch 2. And two more things that I want to show for the Switch 2 that just arrived. I ordered these from Amazon the other day, and they arrived, and I'm really excited to get them, and that is the Metroid Prime 4 Amiibos. Yes, I am a recovering Amiibo fanatic. I sold my entire collection, but Nintendo keeps doing it to me. They keep releasing amazing Amiibos like this, and I have to pick them up. And what's kind of interesting, they release these ahead of the game's release. And I just love the motorcycle here. I love Samus in this one. I had to pick them up. The Metroid Prime 4 hype is there for me, and I'm so excited to be able to play that in the upcoming weeks, but I had to pick up these Amiibos. I know, I couldn't resist. I had to get these. Now we'll be back to Switch games in a second, but let's talk about a game that we played and finished on the PS5, and that is for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, we just did a final thoughts on the game, and we just want to say, if you have any family or friends who are into RPGs, this is the game to get this year. It really is. This is the collector's edition. I think this is long out of print, but you can get the regular game, and we highly, highly recommend it alone for the combat. The combat in it is fantastic. It's a counterattack parry system that is legendary and will test you to your core, but there's a beautiful storyline and a beautiful world, and I'm going to say it one more time, and beautiful music. The music is phenomenal in this game and really sets the atmosphere so high. And I can't recommend it enough. Expedition 33 for every RPG fan out there. And you won't believe it, this is up there for one of my games of the year, like the game of the year. And I'm going to show it right here. That is for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the great follow-up to Mark of the Wolves, a great old Neo Geo game. Neo Geo is back, I can say that. And for anybody out there who's looking for a fighting game to give to a significant other, this is the way to go. This is my ultimate fighting game of this year. I love this game so very much. I love the roster of characters, I love the backgrounds. I also love the inclusion of Chun-Li and Ken into this version of the game. Joe Higashi is also back. I played this game so much that it's unbelievable, and it's one of those games that I always go to. If I'm sitting around, I'm like, you know what, I'll just do a few rounds on City of the Wolves, and I'm never upset. I think the graphics are amazing. I think they really did a good job of getting the character designs right from that old game into this new game. And guess what? Fatal Fury is back with City of the Wolves. Great recommendation.
Let's go!
Okay, this is the section where I'm going to say that everything that is old is new again. And this is for old school fans of video games. Something amazing has been happening. They've been re-releasing a lot of old games in collections and remastering a lot of them. Let's start off with one of them. It's a great one, and that is for Final Fantasy Tactics, The Ivalice Chronicles, the game that was originally released on the PS1. It's great to see it back. It's great to see them do an upgrade on it with voice acting. There's voice acting in this now.
This way. Hurry up. And try making a little less noise.
I'll not take orders from you!
You've quite a mouth on you, princess.
I remember back in the day, you'd have to read so much text, and that was fine, but the inclusion of the voice acting, and it's really good voice acting, and they've kind of upgraded the graphics a little bit. They've redone the entire intro, and they've upgraded the UI interface, and boy does it make a difference. And it's so fun to revisit a great old strategy game that still holds up to this day, and I can't believe we got Final Fantasy Tactics back this year. Such a treat.
Enough!
And guess what else is back? Yes, the Great Lunar 1 and 2 has made a return, and I reviewed this earlier in the year, and I bought both Switch versions to own both of the alternative covers here, because I love this game. These are great games from the 90s that really represent that time period, and I loved it. I loved it originally on the Sega CD, then onto the PS1, and this is a great remastered version of that in this collection, and I recommend this to old school anime RPG fans. This is a great JRPG and a real classic, and one that I'm so glad they brought back. And they brought back another game, a favorite of mine. I just reviewed the game, and they didn't just remaster it, they completely remade it, and that is for Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the high definition 2D remake. This is the one I picked up on the PS5. I was sent a review code, so I just bought my own physical copy of the game because I love it. I've said I said in my review, this is a 10 out of 10 game. And the reason why it is because it's not just one game, it's two. You get Dragon Quest 1 and Dragon Quest 2 completely remade. The music's been redone, but honors the original. All of the graphics are upgraded. They've added voice acting.
Go forth, brave hero, and may the goddess guide thee.
And they've added a lot more story to this, with a lot more characters added to flush out the story. And they've done a great job. They've done a great job combining things and upgrading things. They've knocked it out of the park, and I'm in love with this. And I gotta say, if you picked up this, you gotta pick up this. Dragon Quest 3, the trilogy, all together. I feel like some proud father of these games. I didn't make them, but you know what? They're a part of my youth, and to see them still represented in the year 2025 is amazing. They're classic RPGs and ones that I highly recommend to everybody out there. And again, some old games that are new again. They released Metal Gear Solid Delta this year, and this is a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid 3. And up there, it's in my top 10 games of all time, so I was very, very excited for this game. Did it live up to those expectations? Yes, it did. They really did a great job honoring those original games, upgrading the graphics, and yes, some of the gameplay is old school. It's a product of that particular time, but it's fantastic, and I think they did a really good job of it. It's funny how they're just, bringing back some of these old games, and they did it as well with Gears of War Reloaded. This is a game I originally played on the Xbox 360. Me and my friends at work every night would get together and play this game online. I finished the online mode. I played the multiplayer to death with all of my friends. I love this game, so getting to experience it again, I'm always excited about that. I know that a lot of games are remakes, remasters, but you know what? They meant something to my youth, and it's fun to play them again in the year 2025.
Lock and load. Oh yeah!
And let this be known as the year of the ninja. It is, because we get Ninja Gaiden Ragebound right here, which is a phenomenal game in the series. And it's been a few years since we had a Ninja Gaiden game, and they did a great job. And guess what else? They brought out Shinobi. Shinobi is back from the dead with Shinobi Art of Vengeance. And how did they do with this game? They knocked it out of the park as well. And then there's also Ninja Gaiden 4. We've got so many ninja games coming out of this game that it's ridiculous. It feels like the 1980s all over again, and I'm all for it. And I gotta say, they've really honored the original game so well with these brand new versions of it. And I love Shinobi. A lot of people were talking about, oh, they love the old pixel artwork. So do I. But you know what? The hand-drawn look to this is really good, and it really is a worthy sequel in the series.
You just sealed your fate!
Now, for a couple of original titles, we have Silent Hill F by Konami here. And yes, they've changed the environment. They take us to old school Japan. And boy, is this game creepy. And you play as a schoolgirl making your way through your village, and all, no pun intended, all hell breaks loose. And everything goes to pot. And it's creepy and it's eerie. This is a great game for horror fans out there. A big high recommendation, especially if you like the Silent Hill series. This is a brand new, fresh take into the series. And this is one that I played earlier in the year that I've been thinking about quite a lot, and that is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I've got to say, Hawaii is my most favorite place in the entire world. I love it. And they've recreated Waikiki so well here that you're running around the streets and I'm like, I've been there, I've done this. And besides that, the setting is great, but it's the action, it's the storyline, it's the whole pirate aesthetic. It really kind of rubbed me the right way this year. I was just like, they've really nailed it. And this is one of my favorites in the series. And I just love the music. I love the combat so very much. I love the combo system. There's so much to dive into here, no pun intended. And a big high recommendation for this game. So staying in the world of video games, I have some very interesting recommendations. Some things that I picked up this year. One of them I got from Walmart. Right here, look at this. This is the Altered Beast cartridge, and it flips open right here on the back. You can see that, and it's a little diorama that kind of mimics the original Altered Beast game for the Sega Genesis. So if you know anybody who's into the Sega Genesis or the old video game machines, you can pick this up at Walmart. This is not any plug for Walmart. This is just something that I was walking around with my daughter and I saw this and I'm like, Altered Beast is in my Walmart in 2025. I've got to get this. So it's a great stocking stuffer, this. This is one that I picked up and I'm really happy that I picked up. I think it's just so neat to revisit the past in a Walmart in 2025. So weird, Sega. So I had to recommend this, being an old school Ys fan, this little collector's edition right here. We got the Falcom logo going on here. I'm gonna open this up. What is this treasure chest? My daughter was asking me this morning, where what we got in here, we have the Lacrimosa of Donna. That is the 8th game in the E series. This is the audiobook. So we have the audiobook here. But the other really big gem in here that is so cool, and I want to recommend, is, yes, we have Castaway Tales, the Lacrimosa of Donna, but this is the one that I really like. This is one that I never expected to see in my lifetime. It's called Castaway Cookbook, the Lacrimosa of Donna. There is a cookbook that you can recreate dishes served within the world of Ys 8. And it's so wild to see this, and it's so funny to see this. Like, look at this. That I never thought I'd see an Ys cookbook, and this is why I have to recommend it. So if you know anybody who is an Ys fan, this is a really interesting item to recommend, and especially when you have the book itself going on in here, and you have the audiobook going on. So just another little thing for Ys fans out there. Next up is something that just arrived the other day. I've had this pre-ordered for about a year, and it showed up, and I looked up into the stars, and I was like, I can't believe that this finally came out. And that is for Phantasy Star, the tabletop role-playing game. For anybody who's ever watched the channel for a long period of time, you know that my favorite game of all time is Phantasy Star. I love all of the Phantasy Star games. This is my little Phantasy Star section right here. And this is something that I never thought that I'd see, especially being a big tabletop fan. When this was announced, I was just like, pre-order instantaneously. I'm like, I'm into this 100%. And they've done a Phantasy Star tabletop role-playing game. Now, what's really cool here is it's not just, if you look at that cover, we have the original Phantasy Star, we have, Alice Landale, Odin, Meow going on here. But what we also have is 1 to 4. So we don't just have the first game, we have all of the other games in there. And we've got a lot of great artwork going on here. And so they cover Phantasy Star 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Phantasy Star Online. So I was kind of flipping through the book and I'm like, oh, the Phantasy Star Online is represented as well. So it's very excited to see that. So you can play it in any of the world settings that you want. So you can just play it in the first Phantasy Star or the fourth, or a big recommendation is the third, because it's just such a weird, the game's not great in Phantasy Star 3, the original, but the world setting was really fascinating and would be a really great tabletop kind of experience. And for me, it's so wild to see these guys here. Like, this is from Phantasy Star Online going on here. This is from Phantasy Star 1 with the Centaur going on. Really great stuff, Phantasy Star 1 going on. It's so funny to know all of these enemies, and they're all represented here. The one that really got me, I thought was really pretty wild, was just to see the sandworm going on there. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, it's so neat that you can play a tabletop game of Phantasy Star. And, we live in a time where I've often said that I feel like Phantasy Star has been forgotten. Yes, they went on to Phantasy Star Online too, but the original. And it's so beautiful to see the originals represented here. And I couldn't be happier to get this book. When it showed up, I was like, yes! And yes, a big plug for Phantasy Star, the tabletop role-playing game by Sky Dawn Game Studios. Not sponsored, nothing in this entire video is sponsored. These are just my recommendations. I get excited. This is really cool. So Phantasy Star, the tabletop role-playing game by Sky Dawn Game Studios. Check that out. So what's that? You like video game music? You like Atlas? This is one that I ordered. It arrived from Crunchyroll. I don't love the store Crunchyroll, but I liked picking up this item. This is for Metaphor ReFantazio. This is the entire soundtrack. And this is 4 LP records going on here. And I gotta say, Metaphor ReFantazio has one of the best soundtracks in the last 5 years of video games. I'm telling you, it's so good. And when I saw that I could order the music on vinyl, I'm like, yeah, you can count me in on this, 100%. Also, a phenomenal RPG, one that I highly recommend. And that combat music, it's just so out there, and it's so catchy, and it's so original that I can't wait to listen to it on vinyl.
Safe yet. Stay alert.
You can't get sloppy.
Eyes up, novices.
Wind! Stay sharp!
One down. We've got nothing to worry.
So it's very interesting. A lot of people have been asking me lately, John, what are some recommendations of some alternatives to Dungeons and Dragons? A lot of people want to try some different systems now. And I don't blame them, for sure, because there's a lot of great systems out there. One of them I recommend is definitely Shadow Dark, but the other one I love very, very much is this one. And I just picked up this is kind of the beginner's guide, the starter set, and that is for Castles and Crusades. This is the fantasy role-playing game, and I just want to say, look at that artwork. Doesn't that scream beautiful fantasy from the 80s? It does for me. That's the feeling that I get. And so with this beginner set, it's not too expensive. I think it was like 24 bucks. You have everything to play the game with. So you have like a scenario here, how to direct the game, and also character creation going on here. Look, some more great artwork. I can't recommend this enough. And some character sheets just to get started. So this is your all-in-one way to play, or you can buy the full-on game. And I bought this starter set, and I honestly, I just thought the artwork was just phenomenal, and I'm like, yep, count me in. And one anime recommendation only for adults, people like 18 and up, because it's a bit risque. It's a bit risque, but I can't believe we finally got it. I know a lot of us out there are like, I can't believe they finally released Golden Boy. This is a crazy anime. It's a really ridiculous, over-the-top anime, but it's really funny. It's really funny. And yes, it pushes the limits, but that's what was so funny when I originally watched it like 30 years ago for the very first time. And it's just about this student who's out there trying to learn different things. He's like trying to learn how to program at a software company and all the hilarious, insane things. He's a very lecherous guy as well.
I hear the sound of a woman screaming! What's going on, ma'am?
Who unplugged my file server?
It's a funny anime, and we all thought that there could never be a high-definition version of it, but Discotek released this. It's kind of an upscale from the original tapes, but they did so good. And I watched the first episode again, and I'm like, oh boy, this takes me back 30 years, and it's so funny, and it's so over the top, and so crazy. So it's a recommendation, but nothing for kids or anything like that. Definitely for adults, but very, very funny stuff. A high recommendation for Golden Boy.
Excuse me, could I have your autograph?
Who's this?
And I'll ask you guys, what are some recommendations that you give to other people this holiday season for some games, some merch, some stocking stuffers? Let me know down below, and let everybody else know down below. And everybody, have a great holiday season. The Christmas special is coming up. I can't believe it. We'll be doing the 18th annual Christmas special with me and Rob. I can't believe that. We've done 18 of them on the channel. 18 Christmas specials. And we'll be there. I'm seeing Rob, I think, this week. And we'll be doing that for sure. So look forward to that as well. So anyways, guys, until next time.